Long before I became interested in Buddhism, meeting this spiritual leader was actually my dream. To me, he's a living legend. He's the kindest and the warmest human being you could ever imagine. And yes, I'm talking about His Holiness Dalai Lama. And last year, I had the honor of meeting him in person. So in this video, I'll share with you my experience on this unforgettable meeting. Last August, I was fortunate enough to be in Leh, India. I went there for the wedding of my husband's friend from university, who's Tibetan. And by the way, if you want to know how is it going, the traditional Tibetan wedding, just watch this video. I will leave a link in the description below. So just after we arrived, we learned that Dalai Lama was there too. So normally he resides in Dharamsala, it's completely another part of India, but every year around this time in August he comes to Leh to greet the Tibetans who are living there in this mountain. Although we knew that we already missed these teachings, our friend brought us super amazing news that I just couldn't imagine. We could join him for the traditional blessing performed by His Holiness Dalai Lama. And that was mind-blowing, I couldn't have been happier. It's all happened, so fast, so unexpected that it was really hard to believe. So a few days later, at 4:30 in the morning, we were there at his place, waiting in line to go through security to see His Holiness at his summer residence. So we rushed out so fast from our house that we forgot to bring our passports with us, and this is actually obligatory if you want to meet Dalai Lama. And my husband has to rush back home, and thankfully we were living not so far away, so we were on time. So afterwards there was a long waiting, hours and hours, waiting to pass through the security controls. So actually our group was quite funny. That was one Russian, that's me, one Italian, my husband, one Turkish Englishman, one Saudi, and 15, maybe a little bit more, Tibetan friends. So what is the craziest part of all these arrangements and everything? That we were not allowed to bring anything but our passports with us. So all the phones, the keys, all the personal belongings, we left it in the car, so we were not sure if we were going or not going to have any photos of this precious moment of meeting His Holiness. We just went for it with an open heart, with bare hands. The security control was actually very, very strict, at the airport. So every person was checked individually. And honestly, I wasn't surprised, as there have been various attacks on His Holiness' life. So after this, we entered the beautiful garden inside the palace. All the security controls passed, and we were served the breakfast and traditional tea. Wow, we didn't expect it at all. And at the end, it was very useful, as we were there waiting for around 5 hours. All the Tibetans in their costumes, all the friends, family members, they all explained to us what Dalai Lama meant to them, who is him actually, and why is he so important person to Buddhists. For me, as I already started to read some books about Buddhism, this was a precious moment. It was like a private lecture. And this first-hand information is so valuable, because normally you don't receive it like that any other day. It also was an eye-opening experience to participate in religious conversations with the people from another religions, from another confessions, with Buddhists, with the Muslim, with Catholics. And the craziest part of it, that we came to the conclusion that actually each and every religion is there just to help us to find happiness. Then our turn finally came, and we proceed to another small garden to wait in another line, of course, and we were in a half a circle watching Dalai Lama receiving people from distance, and I just got the goosebumps. It was going to happen very soon, I was so excited. When my turn came, I was asked only one question, actually where I was from, and this was the only information that was delivered to His Holiness. He was seated there in a lotus pose, like on the chair, surrounded by security and monks, so many people around him. So they were regulating the flow of the people, so you just got only around 5 seconds, you just come, see him, and that's it. So in this 5 seconds of truth, he blessed me. He put a traditional blessing white scarf that I brought with me. He held my hand and he looked profoundly into my eyes, and I really felt so good. It was really a precious moment. But then my turn was over. That's it, only 5 seconds. Yeah, it was quite disappointing to see him for such a short period of time. Afterwards, we received some gifts with his photo with traditional Tibetan medicine, and of course it was nice, but you know, I would prefer, of course, this moment to last way more. I would prefer to have an opportunity to ask him a question. You know, you should also understand that he's 87, I guess, or 88 years old now already, and there are so many people who want to see him, and of course he just doesn't have a time to see everyone and to talk to everyone. But I really feel so honored and so blessed that he had these 5 seconds to just hold my hand, to look at my eyes and to give me this blessing. Whole moments lasted, you know, so briefly, so fast. It reminds me, I had this feeling of like confusion and happiness, like all in the same, mixed together. The whole universe seems to pass by at the speed of light. It was just an amazing experience. It was so quick, so subtle, and it really left a big imprint on me. And I appreciate so much all the atmosphere of tranquility there inside the palace, all this beautiful Tibetan who gave me explanation about the Buddhism, all this conversation, and of course this deep gaze of Dalai Lama. And guys, if you have a chance, just don't hesitate. Go and participate in his blessing. Don't wait for the right moment to come, just create it. That was it. That was the story of how I met Dalai Lama in the most beautiful place on earth, Leh, in province of Ladakh. So if you're curious to know why I fell in love with this region, watch the following video. Watch this video, I will leave a link in the description below.